Carly, can you see me?
No. Ash, is that Ash or was that Jess?
Oh,
Sorry.
it's Jess.
I can
It's
see
Jess.
you. I can see you, Jess.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if it was working. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, Steve.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's council meeting for this Monday, the 8th of July, 2024. We'll start with the opening affirmation and acknowledgement of country. We gather to represent the people of Albury who have entrusted us with this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, wisdom and common sense. May our personal values give us honesty and courage to serve our community effectively and with respect for all. We'd like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people as the traditional custodians of the land that we meet upon today and pay our respects to the elders past, present and future, for they hold the memories, culture, tradition and hopes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that contribute to our community. A reminder that this council meeting is being webcast and recorded. By speaking at the council meeting, you agree to being recorded and webcast. Please ensure that even when you are speaking at this council meeting, that you are respectful to other people and use appropriate language. Albury City accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this council meeting. An audio recording will be made for administrative purposes. Item 3 on the agenda, conflict of interest declarations received and disclosure of political donations. Acting CEO, Ms. Squire.
Thank you, Mayor King. No conflict of interest declarations today. In terms of the disclosure of political donations, The Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979, Section 10.4 requires a person submitting planning applications or submissions regarding a planning application to disclose any reportable political donation and or gifts to any local councillor or employee of council. Reportable political donations include those of or above $1,000. The disclosure statement forms are available on the council's website or from the Customer Service Centre and must be lodged in accordance with the Act. The forms are also available at the back of the chamber during meetings. Given that we don't have any development applications on the agenda tonight, that's the end of the advice. Thank you.
Thank you. CM4 apologies. Councillor Bettridge.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to move that council receive, note and accept the apology of councillor Thurley and grant leave of absence for the meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Gluckin.
Very happy to second. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. We'll put the motion. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. CM 4.2, attendance by councillors at a meeting by audio visual link. Councillor Gluckin.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor King, to move the recommendation as a motion that council receive, note and accept the attendance of councillors Callaghan, Cameron and Edwards via audio visual link for the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bowen.
Happy to second that motion, Mayor King.
Thank you. We'll put the motion, councillors. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. CM5, mayoral minute. There is no mayoral minute. CM6, action plans. Councillor Bettridge.
Through you, Mayor King, I'd like to move that the following action plans be received and noted. 1, actions complete for noting only. 2, actions awaiting response from external parties. 3, actions in progress. And 4, long-term issues more than 3 months. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gluckin.
Happy to second those. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. We'll put the motion. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. I should have checked whether someone wanted to speak to any of those. Apologies. But I'm seeing everyone's okay with that. CM7, confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. CM7.1, minutes of the council meeting held on Monday, the 24th of June at 6 p.m. Councillor Gluckin.
Thank you. To move the recommendation as a motion that the minutes of the council meeting held on Monday, 24 June 2024 at 6 p.m. be confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Baker.
Second, Mayor King.
Thank you, Councillor Baker. If we're all happy, I'll put that motion, councillors. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. CM8, reports from community forums. We have none. Notices of motion, notices of rescission. There are none. CM10, presentations and deputations. We have none. CM11, reports, minutes of committees and working parties. CM11.1, minutes of the Albury Crime Prevention Committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 13th of February 2024. Councillor Gluckin.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, noting I am not a delegate within that, I would still, however, like to move that as a recommendation that council receives, notes and accepts the minutes of the Albury Crime Prevention Committee meeting held on Tuesday, 13 February 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bowen.
And although I'm not a member of that either, I'm happy to second it.
Thank you. Any speakers for or against? I chair that committee meeting, but I'm happy that you both have moved and seconded that. We'll put the motion. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. CM 11.2, minutes of the Aboriginal Advisory Committee meeting held on Thursday, the 29th of February 2024. Councillor Baker.
Happy to move the recommendation that council receives, notes and accepts the minutes of the Aboriginal Advisory Committee meeting held on Thursday, the 20, I think it was later than that, wasn't it?
There's two. This is
sorry.
the earlier one. Yeah.
Held on Thursday, 29th February 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Bowen.
And I'll second that motion, Mayor King.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Happy to put that motion. Those for? Oh, was there a question? Sorry, Councillor Callaghan. Those for, those against? That motion is carried. CM 11.3, minutes of the Aboriginal Advisory Committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 4th of June, 2024. Councillor Baker.
Happy to move the recommendation, Mayor King, that council receives, notes and accepts the minutes of the Aboriginal Advisory Committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 4th of June, 2024.
Thank you. Councillor Bowen.
And I'm happy to second that motion as well.
Thank you. Councillor Callaghan has a question.
I'd like to speak for the motion, Mayor King.
Speaking for the motion.
Yes, just briefly, it was a really productive last meeting with the Aboriginal Advisory Committee. The advisory group provided feedback on Australia Day and also the Murray River experience, where staff member Nerily Kerslake provided a comprehensive overview of the project and encouraged feedback from our First Nations community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers for or against? In that case, we'll put the motion. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. CM 11.4, minutes of the Sustainability Advisory Committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 11th of June, 2024. Councillor Glacken.
Thank you. Whilst I don't chair this, happy to move the minutes of the Sustainability Advisory Committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 11th of June, 2024, that the minutes council receives notes and accepts the minutes of the Sustainability Advisory Committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bowen.
Thank you. I'll second that motion. Thank you, Mayor King.
Thank you. Councillor Glacken, did you wish to speak to it at all? Councillor Callaghan, speaker for?
Thank you. I had a question, Mayor King. Thank you through you to the most relevant staff member. It's in regards to the battery energy storage system. There's been lots of community interest regarding the state significant project. And I've also requested an update from the project with a briefing for councillor staff. But just in relation to it, can anyone answer the question, what is the council's current understanding of this project to date?
Mr. Christie?
Thank you for the question and for you, Mayor King. So council staff have had some pre-lodgement discussions with the applicant as they prepare their EIS. It is a state significant application. So the application won't be lodged with council. Will be lodged with the New South Wales Government, and council will be a referral agency. I have just checked the website before coming down here today, and it's still under preparation. There's no application being lodged with the state government yet. As soon as we become aware of an application, we'll be able to provide further information to councillors.
Thank you, Mr. Christie.
Thank you, councillors. Any other questions or speakers for or against? If not, happy to put the motion. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. Thank you. CM 12, documents for sealing. There are none. CM 13, officers' reports for consideration. CM 13.1, main sewer pump station and rising main consultancy and design contract number 23/01976. Councillor Glacken.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, to move the recommendation that council, pursuant of section 1781A of the Local Government General Regulation 2021, New South Wales resolves to accept the tender from New South Wales Public Works and awards the contract for 23/01976 main sewer pump station and new rising mains for the tendered lump sum of $4,931,141.50, including GST.
Thank you. Councillor Bettridge.
Happy to second the motion, Mayor King.
Thank you. Councillor Glacken, did you wish to speak to it at all?
Yes, this is a significant, whilst there's been a lot of work undertaken, this is a significant progression for what is really our most significant sewer mains. And as all councillors are aware, this is the most significant of those mains. It takes 95% of our sewer, and it is imperative that we undertake this work now to ensure the long-term viability of that space within our city, and ensure that it is able to continue to take the product it has been taking. In fact, that it is able to take an increased amount and it will take some years to be able to undertake this work. But this contract is to ensure that appropriate design and then implementation will be able to be undertaken. And I know that our staff have been working for some years on this. It's a matter that has been updated with through information sessions to councillors over about the last dozen years or so. Thank you.
You, Councillor Glacken. Speaker 4, Councillor Bowen.
No, sorry.
Accidental push of the button, that's fine. Any other speakers for or against? Happy to put the motion, councillors. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. Thank you. CM 13.2, the AEC Redevelopment Detailed Design Contract number 23/01136. Councillor Bettridge.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor King, I'd like to move that council pursuant to section 178(1)(a) of the Local Government (General Regulation 2021 New South Wales) resolves to accept the tender from Peddlethorpe Melbourne Proprietary Limited and awards contract number 23/01136 AEC Architectural Services Detailed Design for the tendered lump sum price of $2,697,410.10, including GST.
Thank you. Councillor Glacken.
I'm very happy to second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Bettridge, did you wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Glacken, or any other councillors at this stage wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Glacken.
Again, this is another significant progression on a significant component of work that we've been dealing with over a number of years, at least 2 terms of council. In fact, I think it's 3 that we've been looking at this. And again, it's a really good step forward, significant work that will be undertaken. It's a valuable product that we will have. In fact, we're pretty much doubling the capacity of the AEC, the Albury Entertainment Centre, and bringing online significantly enhanced capacity for future conferences and other activities that are undertaken in our facility, meaning that we can actually be applying and bidding for a greater number and a greater size of participant in conferences for our city, which is a win for everybody.
Thank you, Councillor Glacken. If there are no further speakers, we'll put that motion. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. Thank you. CM 13.3, Draft Murray River Experience Master Plan and Norriel Park Riverbank Rehabilitation Project Updated Stakeholder Engagement Plan Public Exhibition Submissions. Do we have a councillor wish to move a motion? Councillor Glacken.
Thank you, Mayor King. I've just lost it off my screen. So through you to move the recommendation as a motion that Council A receive and note the community feedback received through the Phase 1 and Phase 2 consultation. B, endorse the following draft Murray River Experience Master Plan review documents and place on public exhibition for the minimum of 56 days. And they are draft Murray River Experience Master Plan review revision B, draft Central Albury Riverside Parks Master Plan revision B, draft Lake Hume Reserves Master Plan, and C, endorse the draft Norriel Park Riverbank Rehabilitation Stakeholder Engagement Plan, which will facilitate further community consultation and revisions to be made to the Norriel Park Riverbank concept design. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bowen.
Happy to second that motion, Mayor King. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Glacken, did you wish to speak to the motion?
Yes, there are a number of components to this draft Murray River Experience Master Plan, and there have been significant community consultation over a period of time and in a number of different ways to get to this stage. And this recommendation that we're dealing with tonight, which I do support, is important because it provides us with progression for some and then a redraft of the other, which I think is very important because we've listened to our community, this does allow us to take some of those components forward and to further work on the others. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Callaghan.
Thank you, Mayor King. I just have a couple of questions. So through you to the most relevant staff member, some feedback in the last 2 consultations have raised some questions around existing landowners not supportive of allowing public access to their property, which is understandable. Is it possible to achieve the trails without going through private property?
Mr. Costello.
Thanks very much for the question, Councillor Callaghan, and through you, Mayor King. So certainly we have heard that messaging through the consultation period around some of the potentially impacted landholders. I guess at this stage it's a high level plan to gauge some of the opinions of the community, and there was also some wide ranging support for undertaking some of those trails. The next step of the master plan would involve some further feasibility analysis to identify some of those alignments, and the alignments could include a combination of both private or public lands through roadside reserves and other public assets. So it would be the feasibility study that would really tease apart some of those issues and obviously have a lot more dialogue with private landholders. But certainly should there not be the appetite to undertake it on private land, we would look to have other alignment options to be pursued through the feasibility analysis.
Thank you, Mr. Costello.
Any other questions on this one, Councillor Callaghan?
No, I would also like to speak for the motion.
All right, while you're there, you can
Well
speak
done.
the motion. Keep going.
Thank you, Mayor King. I'm highly supportive of the controlling of the unsanctioned vehicle activity, four-wheel driving and illegal dumping of rubbish at Mungavarina. We've seen many attempts by council to circumnavigate this by putting CCTV there, but it tends to keep happening again. So with all efforts, I think that's going to be a really important one to focus on. It's also important to remember this is a refining process, and like Councillor Glacken mentioned, the original master plan was endorsed in 2007. There's been many iterations, and I think this next 60 days is another opportunity really for the community to have their voice heard. The other thing that I think was positive that's come out of this, it's excellent to see that Norrill Park has been removed and now it's treated as its own project, and that the voice of the community have been heard, and that council will participate in further community consultation around the Norrill Park River Bank design concept. So some really, and the Australia Park one as well as stepped away because it needs more work. So the community is being listened to, and they have had their say, and I think these are some really wonderful initiatives that are moving forward with the MRE. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker 4, Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mayor King. I'm also a strong supporter of this stakeholder engagement plan, and we all live and have our recreation near the water, the weir, the river, all the way along, and it's really important that we get community feedback on the plan and see what everyone is thinking, because we're blessed, but we also need to understand, the dangers and the rewards with the water. Thank you.
Thank you. Question, Councillor Bowen.
Thank you, Mayor King. Just a quick question. I have a My Dialogue 60 days and it was 56 days. Can I just get a clarification on?
Mr. Costello.
Thanks very much for the question, Councillor Bowen, and through you, Mayor King. I think the undertaking there was to have the consultation for a period of 2 months to ensure that we got as much feedback as we could. And so I think we extended it for a couple of extra days in the first instance, and we just looked to mirror image that first round of consultation. So it was certainly endeavouring to have at least a 2-month consultation period as part of the exhibition.
Follow up.
Thank you, and through you to the most relevant member of staff to Mayor King, if I may. And just about the Riverside Precinct, just wondering about events in that space. And I know it's fantastic, and congratulations on the awards that have been won just recently regarding that space as well too. But from an events point of view, My experience is that there is not a lot of electricity that runs through there or electrical points for maybe vendors to set up, whether it be a coffee machine or a market stall or something of that nature. Is that something that we could consider retrofitting, or something that maybe we could do something about?
Mr Costello.
Thanks for the question, Councillor Bowen, and through you, Mayor King. Certainly happy to follow up any specifics in regards to that. We certainly did install some electricity points through the Hovel Tree Drive and that marketplace area there, and also in towards the back of the pool as well. But certainly, if there's specifics that you had in mind, we're certainly happy to pursue those further.
Thank you. Do you wish to close debate, Councillor Glacken?
Thank you very much. It's great to see that it appears the council is highly supportive of this. However, it will still be put to the vote in a moment. I note the fact that it is a 2-month exhibition period, and I think that's really important, as raised by Councillor Bowen. It allows our community to take their time to be able to provide their feedback, and many people over that 2-month period will visit the spaces, experience the spaces, and then make comments. So that's really important. And also, as highlighted by Councillor Bowen, it's fantastic that the recent work down at the Murray River with the boardwalk area has been acknowledged as such a design and build marvel, and really highly prized facility that we now have in Albury, not only by Albury and Wodonga residents, but our regional residents as well. It is absolutely outstanding, and it has taken some considerable years to reach that stage where we're able to showcase such a fabulous addition to our river experience. And that was one of the projects that has been developed throughout the period since 2007, as commented on by Councillor Callaghan quite correctly, that it's been some considerable time, 1.5 decades of work that is coming to fruition, and this is another major step in that component of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Glacken. We'll put the motion, councillors. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. CM 13.4, Crime Prevention Committee Draft Terms of Reference. Councillor Bettridge.
Through Mayor King, I'd like to move the council adopt the Albury City Crime Prevention Committee Draft Terms of Reference.
Thank you. Councillor Bowen.
Happy to second that motion, Mayor King.
Thank you. Any other speakers for or against? Then we will put the motion, councillors. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried as well. CM 13.5, Albury Airport Western Precinct Concept Design Public Exhibition Submissions. Councillor Glacken.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor King, to move the recommendation as a motion that council receive and note the submissions received through the public exhibition of the Albury Airport Western Precinct Concept Design, and adopt the concept design as the basis for future development on the Western Precinct at Albury Airport.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Bowen.
Thank you, Mayor King. I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Councillor Glacken, did you wish to speak to the motion?
Thank you. Yes, I would. This is yet again another significant component of work that will be undertaken, and we're furthering progression with the concept design. It's important to note the submissions that have been received, and having read them, it was interesting that a lot of the components of the submissions were about the surrounding area, including Transport for New South Wales Road, Barella Road, which is actually the Riverina Highway, and that convergence between Barella Road, Riverina Highway, and the airport exit. So that was interesting to note. Although a lot of people made submissions and gave us valuable information and insight, the actual future development concept design is staying as it was. But those points that people have provided us with are valuable for us as we continue to develop that surrounding area, including further work with Transport for New South Wales to deal with the road issues that they have raised. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Callaghan.
Thank you, Mayor King. I have two questions for the most relevant staff member. The first being, there was much feedback in relation to extending the length of the runway to allow for larger planes. Can this still be achieved over time if the Western Precinct concept design goes ahead?
Ms Squire.
Thanks for the question, Councillor Callaghan, through you, Mayor King. All of the previous research that we've done in relation to the airport capacity is that there is actually not a requirement to extend the runway. That said, the Western Precinct would not interfere with that. Obviously, there, in terms of demand for regional transport to and from Albury-Wodonga, the capacity of the current airport is more than sufficient. If we were looking to increase passenger numbers, we would do that through scheduling as opposed to larger aircraft. So it's not about larger aircraft. It is about the frequency of flights and the number of those flights over the course of a week.
Thank you, Ms Squire. And just a second question, if I may. It's very similar to what Councillor Glacken touched on in regards to Barella Road, Riverina Highway, but noting that this is outside of the scope of the project, there was also a lot of feedback in regards to the entry of the airport requiring an upgrade and some suggesting a roundabout. My understanding is that there is money in the 2026-27 budget for upgrades in this area. Can you explain that in a little bit more detail?
Certainly. Thanks, Councillor Callaghan. Yes, we do have $2.8 million allocated in the forward estimates. That will still, as I understand it, require some additional investment, either through other grant funding or through contributions by private parties or potentially Transport New South Wales. But certainly we recognise how important this is to the community. It's a priority for us as well. And it was identified in our Barella Road Highway Corridor Strategy document as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ms Squire.
Thank you. Any other speakers for or against? To sum up, Councillor Glacken.
Thank you. Interesting questions raised and information provided by the staff in answering those questions. It was highlighted by Councillor Callaghan, the number of questions raised about the length of the airport, and it's a valid question. However, the capacity of the airport is that it can take 737s, and Ms Squire has provided us with the information that the aim would be to increase the frequency of flights. So if we were to be having 737s coming to Albury to take our residents off to Sydney, we would probably get maybe 2 a day, if that. Whereas what we really want to be able to do is increase that frequency of the available flights in and out of Albury. So if we can have 5 flights or 8 flights to Sydney a day, that would be much more valuable to our community than having 1 or 2 large aeroplanes. So the length of the airport is important, but we do have that capacity in the future should we need to. This development will not inhibit that capacity in the near, medium or longer term future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Glacken. We'll put it to the vote, councillors. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. CM 13.6, Customer Experience Strategy, Public Exhibition Submissions. Councillor Bettridge.
Through you, Mayor King, I'd like to move that Council A, receive and note the submission received during the public exhibition period, and B, adopt the amended draft 2024-2027 Customer Experience Strategy.
Thank you. Councillor Bowen.
Thank you, Mayor King. Second that motion.
Thank you. Councillor Bettridge, did you wish to speak to it?
No, thank you, Mayor King. I'm comfortable for the motion to be put.
Thank you. Councillors, if there's no speakers for or against, we do have a speaker? No? Put the motion? Sorry,
I wasn't sure. I'll
Councillor
just.
Callaghan, sorry, I can't actually read that
It's
writing.
pretty
It just looks like a white blank
Yeah,
paper.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Callaghan.
I'd just like to really brief it. This is a really important document. It's about how community interact with Albury City Council in all its capacities, and to establish a good culture and deliver excellent customer service is what we all hope for as councillors, that the engagement level is a really positive one, and this document seeks to achieve that. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll put the motion, councillors. Those for? Those against? That motion is carried. Thank you. CM 14, officers' reports for noting. We have none. CM 15, delegates' reports for noting. There are none. CM 16, notice of urgent business. CM 17, confidential matters. There are none. I declare the meeting closed at 6:32 p.m. Thank you, councillors.
Thank you, Mayor King.
Thanks all.
Thanks, councillors.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.